Hello, welcome to Cure Disease Kuri Channel number 28. My name is Junko Shiozawa and she is my daughter Kuri. Kuri has a very serious disease called DRPLA. It causes the brain to atrophy. No cure, progressing disease. This channel's goal is to find cures for many diseases, and I want to share challenger's life. Great goal. Today, I will talk to Andrea Compton, the founder of an organization called CureDRPLA. Andrea's son, Tyson, has DRPLA. CureDRPLA was created with the goal of bringing together different groups of people and working towards finding treatments to advance research DRPLA treatment. I have a request for you today. DRPLA is a very rare disease with 1,000 to 2,000 patients worldwide. There are maybe no patient with this illness around you, but please watch this video until the end and know about this disease. And please share this video. Our hope is to find as many DRPLA patients as possible and have them cooperate with this project. That is to a cure. Finding the cure to help Kuri, Andrea's son, and other patients depends on your help. Please take a look to the end. Thank you very much for taking the time, and I'm so glad to talk to you.
My pleasure. So nice to speak with you as well, Yunko.
Yeah, thank you. And first, I want to ask you, please let us know the reason for making CureDRPLA.
Sure. So my son Tyson was diagnosed with DRPLA in August 2018. He was 12 years old at the time. We adopted Tyson from Korea when he was 6 months old. We tested him for DRPLA because we were told, but we were informed by his birth family that his birth mother had tested positive for the disease. If it was not for that, we never would have had him tested. So at first, when we got the results from the genetic test, we didn't know what repeats were, and we definitely didn't know whether 67 repeats was a good number or a bad number. We met with a geneticist in December 2018 who informed us that the repeats were actually CAG repeats, and 67 meant that he did have the disease. The geneticist also informed us that there was no treatment. However, he encouraged us to have hope because there had been recent scientific advances made with Huntington's disease, which is another CAG repeat disease. So as we started doing our research, we found that there were no other DRPLA-related organizations. And as we started talking to researchers and some biotechs, we learned that many parents started their own advocacy organizations for their children's rare diseases. And so this was the impetus for us to start CureDRPLA. We were fortunate that when we found out about Tyson's disease, he had not yet developed severe symptoms. He had epilepsy, he had relatively severe learning issues, and he had some delayed motor control, but he was stable. So we felt that we had some time, and knowing what the future of the disease was, we felt that we had to try to do something. Additionally, we were fortunate that no one else in our family was suffering from the disease. As you know, it's very typical that a parent and one or more children can be suffering from the disease at one time, leaving the caregiver extremely overwhelmed. So we didn't have those issues, which afforded me a little bit more time than many other families find, DRPLA families find that they have. So that's why we started CureDRPLA.
I see. So what kind of seizures Tyson has?
Grand mal seizures. He doesn't have myoclonus, at least not yet. He pretty much has grand mal seizures, and that's the only type that we've seen.
I see. Yeah, Chris too. First, she had grand mal seizures. And after that, different type of seizures she had. But first, grand mal seizures.
Right. Yes, that's what we're dealing with.
Mm-hmm. How about Tyson's current condition?
So Tyson right now is 14, although cognitively he's closer to 3. He's never surpassed first grade academically. He's maintained his skills, but he's never acquired new ones. He is still walking and climbing stairs, although his balance is noticeably worse. Getting him outside to exercise or just a walk is a daily struggle. His speech is badly slurred. I'm one of the few people that can understand him. And his epilepsy, while is somewhat controlled, although his seizures have increased from about 1 per year when he was about 10 to about 1 per month now that he's 13 and 14. He's on 4 seizure control medications and takes about 18 pills a day to control the seizures. His latest EEG has shown more epileptic activity, and so we will probably be adding another seizure medication soon. He is he's a happy child. And that's what gets us through at this point.
Yeah, I see. I understand. Yeah. Kuri too. Kuri was so happy girl. Yeah, I see. Okay. What are you planning to do with CureDRPLA in the future?
I'm hoping there won't need to be a CureDRPLA in the future. I want to be able to get us to some sort of treatment and to get biotechs interested in the disease and moving towards a treatment or creating a treatment, and hopefully it will run by itself once we get to that point.
I really want to do. Yeah. So what is the hardest thing for you?
The hardest thing for me is to look forward 3 to 5 years or 3 to 10 years with the knowledge that we might not get a treatment. And that is really hard, to know what the future of the disease is if there is no treatment made available. Also, the other really hard thing for me is the impact the disease has on Tayson's younger brother, who is 12. He's 2 years younger than Tayson. And it's heartbreaking to watch the impact on Tatchell, the younger brother.
So you mean that you have 2 children?
I do, yes. Tayson is 14 and Tatchell is 12. And they're both adopted from Korea, but they are not biological siblings.
Yeah, I understand. About 30 years ago, we found DRPLA diagnosis. At that time, I couldn't imagine future. I mean, 6 months and 3 years, 5 years, I couldn't imagine. Yeah, and I was crying.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and yes. So that's that's where I am at the moment.
But I believe we have still hope.
We do. Science is moving quickly. There's been a lot of advances that could ripple through to DRPLA.
Yes.
A lot is changing, and it's moving quickly.
Yes. Okay. Next, please give some advice to patients.
Okay, so my advice to patients would be to, if they could please enroll in the CureDRPLA patient registry, and if possible, take part in the CureDRPLA natural history and biomarker study. Those two projects are critical to moving us towards a treatment. We need the accumulation of data surrounding the disease. The patient registry will actually collect information on patients. It will ask questions about age, geographical location, age of onset, age of symptom onset, symptoms, seizures, if that's relevant, and activities of daily living. In addition to providing our partners critical information about the profile of DRPLA patients, the registry will also provide them information regarding the number of DRPLA patients in the world and their whereabouts. These are very important things, as you can imagine, for any company thinking about creating a cure for DRPLA. The registry will be accessible in Japanese, and it will be online. And the registry will take about 1 hour to 1.5 hours to actually complete per patient. And it does not all have to be completed at once. There's an auto save feature, and it sounds like an enormous amount of time, but you can complete it in small pieces. And the registry is meant to be completed by either a patient or a caregiver. The second major project that will help us get to a treatment is the CureDRPLA natural history and biomarker study. And the purpose of that study is to actually track the natural course of DRPLA by following a group of patients over the course of 3 years. All patients with DRPLA are welcome to enroll. We are hoping that we are hoping to get about 50 patients in Japan specifically, 50 patients in Europe, and about 10 in the USA. So taking part in the natural history study will require a patient to visit a clinical site where a neurologist will take a number of assessments. The same assessments will be completed at each annual visit. So annual visits, 1 per year for 3 years. It's important for researchers to understand what the change is among the assessments when they compare to prior years. And that will help them establish a baseline for the disease. And by establishing a baseline for the disease, it will help determine if a treatment is actually effective or not. And as I mentioned, the study will take place in Japan, Europe, and the USA. In Japan, there's 5 neurologists who are leading the study, and they are Dr. Shoji Tsuji, Dr. Osamu Onodera, Dr. Hidehiro Misuzawa, Dr. Misuyuki Sasaki, and Dr. Yukitoshi Takahashi. I'm sorry if I've said those names poorly. And of course, closer to both of these studies are planned to kick off in early 2021. And as we get closer to kickoff, we'll put information on the CureDRPLA website, the Facebook page, and Rare Connect. So we really want to encourage participation, and this is critical to us helping get to a treatment and eventual approval for the treatment, which is clearly a critical piece of it doesn't do us any good to have a treatment that has no approval.
Yes. So you mean registry? First registry is very important. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. So the registry will be done online, and that's where any patient anywhere in the world can enter their information, the number of repeats, the age of onset, the age of symptom onset, what the symptoms are, and how they participate with activities of daily living. Anywhere in the world will be able to complete that. And we will also have it in a number of languages. We're starting out with English, and Japan will be the second language, but we're hoping to move to Portuguese and possibly Italian, as well as possibly French and one or two other languages, Korean possibly as well. So we really want to make this accessible. As you probably know, the DRPLA patient population is only is somewhere between 1,000 and 2,000 people worldwide, is the estimate. And so that's a very small population. And we'll need to get as many patients as we can to help participate and grow the study.
Yeah. And as you know, so most of the DRPLA patients are Japanese.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
So what would you like to convey to Japanese patients?
I would like to convey that science is moving very quickly, and that there's been a lot of momentum in other CAG repeat diseases like Huntington's disease and some of the spinocerebellar ataxias like SCA3. And DRPLA indirectly benefits from successes in any of these other diseases because we all have the same base mechanism, which is a CAG repeat. So if we can find something to treat one of them, we can possibly find something to treat a lot of them. Also, we really hope that Japanese patients will participate in the registry and the natural history study. Both of these projects will support DRPLA research and movement towards a treatment and the ultimate approval of a treatment. The majority of DRPLA patients are Japanese. There's, my knowledge is about 690 in the Japanese rare disease registry. If there's anything CureDRPLA can do to encourage Japanese patient participation, please let us know. We want to help. And Junko, we're so appreciative of your help. You've been a tremendous help to us.
I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, and maybe many DRPLA patients, your words encourage us. Yeah.
I hope so. Yes. I hope that's the case.
Yes. So never give up. Let's try together.
Yes. Thank you. Agreed.
Thank you very much.
No, my pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
On the last screen and below, I will link the basic knowledge of DRPLA and the site of specific efforts of CureDRPLA in English and Japanese. This is very important and hopeful information for all DRPLA patient families. Please take a look there as well. Then one more. Due to the small number of patients with this disease, it takes time from the onset of symptoms to the diagnosis. I think doctors are unlikely to suspect DRPLA from beginning. If your loved one has similar symptoms, please suspect DRPLA. There is no cure right now, but the sooner you know, the more you can do. And everyone, thank you for your cooperation. Making many people aware of this disease is the first step, in your finding a cure. Please share this information. So, never give up. Tomorrow will be a good day. Thank you very much for watching.